Alice.
Oh. This is a funny time to turn up.
Well, they only give me a few pound. Had a job getting a lift. I bought you a little present. Go on. You always like sweet things.
Didn't you get my letter?
Yeah.
Well, I told you not to come back. I don't want you back here.
I've had a bad time, Alice. I've had depression. But I'm better now. I'm all right now.
I don't want you.
I'm come a long way. I waited 2 years. You never come to see me. Not once.
I didn't want to.
But we got things to talk about. Things to say to each other, ain't we?
Things have changed, Stanley. There's no going back.
Just a cup of tea.
Why didn't you go 100 miles away? There's nothing for you here. They still talk about you. They hate you.
Who does?
The old town. Everybody.
There's nowhere else for me to go. This is all I know. Besides, you were just as much to blame. Well, the doctor said so. It was just as much your fault. Do you still like me?
I don't feel anything.
You heard what she said. Take your bag, walk through that door, and don't ever show your face here again.
Who's this?
It's no concern of yours. Out.
She's my wife.
She don't want you. I mean, who'd want you after what you did? And besides, it's her and me now, right, Alice? Well, are you leaving, or am I going to chuck you out?
I'm not moving.
You've got 3 seconds.
Alice.
That's 2 gone.
Let him have a cup of tea.
Now, you keep out of this, I'll handle this. Look, you got 1 more second to shift yourself over that step.
Alice.
Right?
There's no need to hurt him. Fool, there were no need to do that. You've hurt him.
Bother her again and I'll slaughter you.
Hey, up. What's up here, then?
You've been on the rampage. Where the hell do you do your drinking this time of the day?
I've not been drinking.
Fighting, then. Who did that?
I'm all right.
Where do you live? Come on. You better come with me. Oh, come on, and don't be a Charlie. You can't walk about like that.
Please. Yeah. Yeah. 2 boys. How old were they? Oh, I see. 2 youths. Yeah.
Do I have to?
Look, nobody's going to hurt you. Just going to patch you up. Make sure you haven't been doing something you shouldn't. Come on.
Hold it. Okay, I can face it now. What's up?
Suspected break-in at Staples. Woman in one of the flats saw a couple of lads belting away down the alley at the back.
We'll better get one of the mobiles over. Poolish should be near this.
He's in.
He's a bit early, isn't he?
He's brought in an old mate of yours, Stanley Haynes.
You'd feel a bit more comfortable if you put that thing down. Oh, sit down, will you? I could clean that cut up. Maybe rustle you up an aspirin.
I've got a nice day for it.
Hello, Stanley. What have you been up to, eh? Where did you find him?
Propping up a lamppost in the high street. I thought he'd been on a blinder, but there's no smell of booze.
Did he talk?
Nah, not a word. He didn't fancy coming up here, though.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Who is he, Sarge? I've not come across him before.
No, it's a bit before your time. Oh, better get his face cleaned up.
He wouldn't let me.
Fool. Oh, all right, I'll talk to him. When did they let you out, Stanley?
Yesterday.
How long have you been away? About 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
What happened to your face? Been to see Alice, have you? Oh, Stanley, why in God's name did you come back here?
Oh, I've lived here all my life. It's my home. It's all I know.
And everyone knows you. Broadston's too small.
Alice is here.
Alice is living with someone. Oh, come on, you must have known that. She must have written to you. She took up with someone soon after you went away, a fella called Harris. He's a big fella. He used to do amateur weightlifting. You ever meet him? You met him this morning, didn't you? He pushed your face in for you, right? Have you any money?
I've got a few pounds.
Then, for God's sake, go away. Go to Northampton, London, find yourself a job, make a fresh start. There's nothing for you here, except trouble.
I want Alice back.
Well, she doesn't want you. I mean, how can you expect her to take you back after what you did?
We was both to blame. The doctor said so.
Well, I doubt if she sees it that way.
Well, she's older now. She's more, mature.
Stanley, you chucked her baby down the stairs. A 6-month-old baby!
I didn't want to.
Yes, I know, but was it her fault?
Well, her behaviour made me do it.
Look, maybe she was a bit flighty, a bit of a kid in those days. Maybe she's grown up now, but you can't expect her just to forgive and forget. And nor will anyone else in this town.
I'm not going.
Well, it's very brave. It's very commendable, but you're a bloody fool.
I'll get my old job back.
I'll give it to you.
Well, there's plenty of work.
And gossip. And chit-chat. You're going to be a lonely man.
Bloody mess, eh? Bloody awful mess.
You're sure, don't you?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Thought it might soften the blow. I made out a list.
There's nothing missing.
Oh?
Nothing. They just walked in and smashed things. I'll tell you who did this. You want to know who did this?
Any little lead helps?
Vandals. Bloody vandals.
I should have thought of that.
Well, everywhere you go these days, there's nothing but vandalism. Bus shelters, trains. Try to make a call on the public box and 10 to 1 the bloody phone's hanging by a wire.
They went to a lot of trouble
Eh?
breaking in just to smash things up.
You've got a better idea.
They could have been disturbed by someone.
Then someone would have come forward.
Maybe. This will be on one of the dustbins. Seen it before?
It ain't mine.
Give it to the fingerprint lads when they get here. You could make it harder for them.
Eh?
By fixing proper locks. You can get them with an old kitchen knife, it's an open invitation, isn't it?
We ain't open today. We're in a spot of...
Hello, Stanley. When did you get back?
Can't you read?
What?
On the door, there's a notice. It says closed.
Oh.
Well, go on then. Out. You ain't wanted here. Get out!
Hang on just a minute. What is it, Stanley? What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Well, come on, you as what? What'd you come in for? Got something to tell us, have you?
No. Nothing.
Well, of all the cheek, of all the nerve, fancy him coming back here.
And where should he go?
That ain't the point, is it? I got 2 kids back at home.
The point is, what did he want? What's he going to say before you frightened him off?
Didn't make our fortune, did we?
Next time.
When's that?
In a few days, when the dust settles.
I thought it was going to be a piece of cake.
Would have been if that stupid git hadn't put his head through the window.
Oh, there's somebody in there. Oh, there's some excuse.
Oh, stop bloody whining.
Last time was supposed to be the big tickle, and it all staked out, didn't you? And what do we get? 3 dozen tea cosies. Dutch, with windmills and girls in clogs.
That all you can do, lie there and bellyache. You sort summit out. You plan the next one if you know it all.
But he goes to the law.
Let him. He don't know us. He couldn't tell them where to look for us. But we know him.
Eh?
His face were all over papers. A couple of years back. He wouldn't go to the law. He killed a baby.
What?
Took it under a bus or something. Only just let him out. My dad were talking about it when he come in dinner time.
Why'd he do it?
Ah, sharp.
I'm going to sign on.
You know what?
Oh, I'm pissed off with this. I'm going up Charlands Monday. It'll be better than this. Hanging about all day, no money, nobody to talk to.
You've got me.
I know.
My dad works at Charland. He's been up there 35 years. What's it done for him? What's he got out on it? Hello, boykins. Who won the match? Seen the evening echo? Then wallop he's into the armchair and does until bedtime.
He's never had much up top.
How do you know? How do you know he couldn't have done all sorts of things? How do you know he couldn't have been a...
What?
A doctor?
I wouldn't go to him for a cold.
He might have been something, if he kept out the factories. Look, give it another go. I've been doing some research. I've got something worked out. One more big un, and we'll clear off to London and set up as doctors.
Hey!
It's the same old story, sir. We are understaffed. Look, we've got one sergeant on weekly leave, one's on a promotion course, and... Yeah. Right. As many as we can spare.
The old man.
Picket line in Northampton. Can we help out?
And let them do their own dirty work. How about your promotion course?
They got their arm made for Bram's Hill.
They won't let a ruffian like you in among the elite. You don't know which way to pass the port. Anyhow, you'd have to make inspector first.
Yeah. Well, we could do with a bit of authority round here. Especially where your lot is concerned. Anything at Staples?
Not much yet.
Oh, there was a report in from Pooley. He saw a couple of lads this morning running like the clappers. Lost them near Sharbrook Road. Got stuck in his seatbelt. Any use?
Might be worth a punt round in the car, see if we can spot them. Oh, I see Stanley's back.
Yeah, poor son.
That's one of them. I'm sure of it.
Right. Let's have him.
Hello, son. How's work today?
What's it to you?
Thought you might be able to do you a good turn. I happen to know they're looking for people up at Charland's. Now, don't you like work?
You from the Labour or a copper?
All on your own, are you?
Yeah.
I think you are, but you've got company. See, halfway up the stairs, I can see his boots. Come on, don't be shy. Come on down.
Oh, him? I thought you meant with me dad in. What do you want? Me dad won't be home till tea time.
I'll ask you about your dad.
Just thought.
What? It's your mate?
Yeah, we were just having a bite before going to the pictures.
Nice life. Don't let me stop you. Often together, are you?
What if we are? Not a crime, is it?
Were you together yesterday morning?
Ron come round here about 10, weren't it, Ron?
About then, yeah. What were you doing between 5 and 7 a.m.?
I were in bed. Where were you, Ron?
I were in bed too. I never get up before 9. Right pair of layabouts, aren't you?
It's our business, isn't it? It's got nothing to do with the law what time we get up, has it?
No.
No.
No. Ever heard of noctambulism?
No.
It's a technical word for sleepwalking. You two weren't in bed, you're having a quiet noctambulation.
Who says so?
Police constable. He saw you a couple of minutes after somebody did a shop in the high street.
Why don't you turn the place over? We've got nothing to hide.
There's no point, there's nothing here. You see, the two that did this job was a couple of green bungling amateurs. Just imagine, they went to all that trouble, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, then come away empty-handed. Not even a torch battery. It's enough to make you weep, isn't it?
Have you done?
For the time being. Just one thing, though. Find yourselves a job. Keep out of trouble. Crime's not your game, you're still wet behind the ears.
Cheeky sod. Who does he think he's talking to?
Us. You and me. The great tea cosy robbers.
One of these days, I'll wipe that cookie smirk off his
Us!
face.
Wait. Mrs. Nesbitt's here. Wants a word with you.
What's she want?
Couldn't say. I'll put her in the interview room.
Hello, Mrs. Nesbitt. Sorry you've been kept waiting.
Please don't apologise, Sergeant. I know how busy the police are. There's always some report or other in the paper, isn't there?
It's propaganda. Trying to excuse our failures. I was very sorry to hear about your husband.
Oh, thank you. It's nearly a year ago now. I'm still not quite used to being on my own.
He was a great character. Always used to enjoy his straight-from-the-shoulder stuff on the bench. How can I help you?
Oh, it's about Mr. Haynes.
Stanley? Has he been troubling you?
Oh, no, nothing like that. It's just that I understand he slept out in the field or park last night.
Very likely.
Well, what are you doing about him?
Me?
Well, the police. Although you in particular, you were involved in his case, weren't you?
Yes. Well, we won't let Stanley die of exposure if that's what's worrying you, Mrs. Nesbit. We're keeping an eye on him.
A rather distant eye, if you don't mind my saying so.
Any closer, I expect we'd be accused of harassing an ex-prisoner.
Well, anyway, I'm hoping soon that you can forget about him completely. You see, my gardener's left me. Now, it's the third one this year. Sooner or later, they find out they can earn far more than I can afford at a factory, and off they go.
Yes, that must be very trying. You're not thinking of offering Stanley the job, though, are you?
Well, of course. He needs a job, I need a gardener. It's the ideal solution. There is another reason.
Yeah?
Mr. Haynes was up before my husband at the magistrate's court. We both considered that the sentence handed out at the assizes was really far too harsh.
Well, he did kill his baby, Mrs. Nesbit.
Yes, I'm quite aware of the seriousness of his crime. But there were mitigating circumstances, social factors, really should have been taken into consideration.
Have you seen Stanley since he got back?
No.
Well, he's in a very bad way. He's suffering from depression. He's already had a brush with his wife's new boyfriend. He'll never settle down here. People won't let him.
But if I'm prepared to help, surely others will follow. I think he's shown great courage in coming back to Broadstone. Surely now it's up to people like us, people in positions of responsibility, to help him make a new life. I can help him, Mr. Smith, and I want to help him. Since my husband died, I've had a lot of time on my hands.
Don't you think it would be a better idea to encourage him to make his new life somewhere else?
I'm offering him total security, a place to live and work.
You don't expect him to clip your lawns for the rest of his life, do you?
I appreciate your trying to help, but I'm sure I'm doing the right thing. Now, where is he?
I don't know.
It's not beyond your powers to find out, is it?
Mrs. Nesbit, look. All right. I'll have a word with the men on the beat. I'll tell them to send Stanley up to you if they run into him.
Thank you, Sergeant.
What did you do then, Pooh?
An ambulance. It took some time getting through there.
Holy, did you put up traffic signs?
But I put the grass off the road and put the car under the verge.
Holy first, get the photographer over. His photo might be needed in evidence. Do you realise you could have let some maniac through the net? Now get out!
Yes, sir.
What's he been up to? Thinks he's Dick Barton of the High Street.
I've just had a visit from Lady Bountiful. Who? Mrs. Nesbit. Remember Nanny Nesbit, the magistrate? His wife. Widow. Wants to help Stanley, give him a job as a gardener.
Oh, well, he could use a job.
I think it's a mistake. Still, I wouldn't mind a word with him myself. Might let the mobiles know, would you?
Sausages, egg, a couple of slices, and a cup of tea, love.
Come on. What's up? Outside. You're mad. It's a gift. Bloody mad. You know what Arcadia is? What? It's perfume, boyo. There's 4,000 bottles of passionate night locked up in there. What we do here? Stick it under our arms. What do you think we'll do with it? We'll sell it. Get a good price for that. Come on, you'll be out in a minute.
I thought you said to cool it for a few days.
This is too good to miss. Are you coming? All right. I'll go alone. Chicken.
Sit down, Stanley. What you been doing since yesterday morning? Mooching about with your bag, have you? I believe you spent last night in the park.
I'm going to get a room tonight.
What you using for money?
Got a few pounds. I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I might be able to help you there. But before we get on to that, I'd like you to help me.
How?
When you come into Staples yesterday morning, what did you want? What were you going to say? You're going to tell me something, will you? Come on, you didn't go in to buy a coloured telly. What was it?
Nothing.
When you come back to town yesterday morning, it must have been about, what, 6:15? You'd have had to walk down the high street on your way to Alice's house. Did you see anything?
Like what?
Like somebody helping themselves in Staples. Come on, Stanley, we're wasting time. Who was it? What did they look like?
Suppose I did see somebody. What did it mean?
What do you mean?
What would you want me to do, like?
I came to find them.
In one of them parades?
Only take 10 minutes. I'll fix it up then. Later on today. Now.
No.
Right.
You're not to fix anything up. No, I didn't see anything. Nothing.
You don't like us much, do you? I can't say I blame you. Seeing as how we put you away for a couple of years. Yours is what you might call a social crime. Now these two lads, if we stop them this time, maybe they'll be all right, like you're going to be all right. But if we let them get away with it, next time it might be something worse. Something violent. Somebody might get hurt. We wouldn't want that, would we?
I didn't see any lads. I don't want any trouble.
Is that your last word?
Yeah.
Oh, before you go, that job you were on about.
More bread and butter, Stanley.
No, thank you. That were very nice.
But I got in an extra loaf. Thought sure you'd have a much bigger appetite after 2 years on a prison diet.
Well, me face hurts.
Have you seen a doctor?
They put some ointment on at the police station.
Yes. Well, I think we'll let our nice Dr. Hardy run the rule over you. Well, Stanley, I think you've had long enough to think it over. How do you feel about my little suggestion?
Well, you're very kind. I'm most grateful. But,
Yes?
I don't know much about gardening.
Oh, it's just a question of keeping the weeds down.
But I'd hoped to get my old job back.
Stanley, I hope you'll forgive my saying this, but I don't think that would be very wise of you.
Don't you?
You must understand that not everybody in Broadstone is going to be as understanding about what happened as I am. Although I haven't had children of my own, my husband's work gave me considerable insight into the stresses and the tensions of family life. I feel that I could really...
She were never in.
I beg your pardon?
Alice. She were never in. I were on night shift, sleeping during the day. She were always going out to her sisters, cops, meeting people. Well, I never found out who exactly, but I could imagine. She'd put the baby down, hoping it'd sleep all day. But it never did. It just kept bawling. It went on for weeks. I couldn't sleep, you see. Well, she was little more than a kid herself.
Yes. Well, you must make a fresh start. You must put it all behind you now and start again.
There's only one thing I want.
Oh, well, tell me, perhaps I'll be able to help you.
Alice, I want Alice.
Then you have less brains than I gave you credit for.
What?
That girl was to blame for everything that happened to you. She didn't care tuppence for you or your baby. And I think you'd be very stupid to take up with her again, Stanley.
But I want to.
No, Stanley, no. You feel guilty. Now, that is quite a different thing.
See, Stanley Haynes is back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Got a job up at the Nesbitt's place, the gardener.
We'll fix that.
It was her idea.
Nice.
Is it?
Why so cynical?
That case always brought out the worst in people. They had to love him or hate him. You know, Thomas runs the radio shop in High Street.
Yeah.
I had to keep his hands off Stanley. Shop had been smashed up and he wanted somebody to kick. You going?
Well, if I tell them you're out, you'll only ring back in 2 minutes.
Gonna be long on those?
Oh, about an hour or so.
Well, I might as well pop back to the station, finish up some of my paperwork.
Any excuse, eh?
Oh, sorry to ring you at home, Sarge, but you did... Well, it's the knife. Nembra just phoned through. No dabs, nothing. Yeah, they must have worn gloves. Yes, square one.
Oh, not again. What's the point? What do you want?
Just a few minutes. Then you owe me that.
All right, 5 minutes, but not a second more. He's only gone for a quick one.
Well, I couldn't have been gone more than 15 minutes. When I came out, the van had gone. Vanished.
Did you notice anyone hanging about outside the calf?
No. Mind, I wasn't looking for anyone. My only thoughts about having a quick bite and getting on to Nottingham.
How about inside the cafe? Any other customers?
No. Oh, wait a minute. There were a couple of lads. You know, pimples and long hair. They left soon after I came in.
How about clothes? How were they dressed?
Leather jackets, I think. With those studs, you know?
Right. Now, what was you carrying? What were in the van?
Pots.
Well, what sort of pots?
Plastic pots. You know, potties for the kiddies. Yellow, green, blue, all colours.
Anything else?
Trainer seats.
What are they?
Oh, they're like little seats for the lavatory.
It's smaller than the main seat. You sort of fit them over so the kiddie don't pop down.
How many?
I'm sorry about the other morning. He had no call to shove you like that. He's got a vicious temper.
What I did, it's bound to make people see red.
Well, it's not that. He don't give a damn about that. It's an excuse. But he's scared I might go back to you.
Are you happy with him?
He's been good to me.
Does he hit you?
Has done.
And you still want to stay?
He's a man. Somebody to cook for. Somebody coming home at night.
I used to come home. Only difference is you were never there. All us out. At your sister's. Sitting in caps.
Oh, we're bored. I know it's only 2 years, but I was much younger. Look at me now. Look what's happened in 2 years. I used to think, is this all there is? Is this why I got married? Cooking and nappies and... Well, you was older. You seemed to set in your ways.
Dull.
Oh, no different now. Lucky to have somebody. Anybody's better than being on your own.
I've thought about you for 2 years.
I know.
I only had one thought. How are we going to make it up to you?
It's no good, Stanley.
But you don't love him!
You and me, after what happened. I mean, every time we had a row, imagine what had come out. I mean, it wouldn't be you, it'd be me. I don't trust myself. You must go now. He'll be back any minute. If he catches you here, he'll murder you.
I'll never forget you.
Help? Who's there? What do you want? Now, keep away. Don't hit me! No! No! Ah!
Stanley? What happened? Who did that to you? Have you been drinking?
Oh, please.
I'll get the doctor, the police.
Well, couldn't you?
No. He won't be a minute. Where have you been?
To see Alice.
You told me you were going straight home to bed. You lied to me, Stanley. Of course, he's looking much better now that the doctor's cleaned him up. When he first appeared, I thought he'd been dragged through some kind of machine. There's blood on the carpet.
Where'd it happen, Stanley?
By Alice's house. Down that little jetty.
Glebe Alley?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
How many were there?
Only one, I think. Well, it was dark.
Been to see Alice, had you? Was her a big man? Broad, like, say, Alice's friend?
Well, it weren't Alice's friend.
How do you know?
Well, I caught hold on him. He was younger, leaner, and his hair.
Yeah?
Oh, it were long. It were like.
Like what?
Well, that first morning I come back. There were a lad in that shop.
Yeah?
Yeah, he ran off when he saw me. Well, I had enough trouble, and I.
Could have saved yourself some more, couldn't you? Well, you better get him to bed.
Yes.
She don't want me.
Is that right, Mrs. Nesbit?
Oh, I've mucked up her carpet and her nice cushions. I've been a bad lad. I went to see my wife without asking her permission.
Now, Stanley.
I'm trouble. She don't want trouble. She just wants a bloody Pekingese.
You're being very rude.
Do you want him to stay?
Well, of course. What a question. Of course I want him to stay. For a little while. Until he settles down. I'm not one to go back on my word.
Come on, you're coming for a ride.
That shop, how many times do I have to tell you I were in bed?
I'm not worried about the radio shop. This is something much more serious.
What? What? I've a right to know. You're supposed to say.
Well, there's two things, really. One of them is a crime that's got your style stamped all over it. There's not many on this patch with a cool nerve to pull a stunt like that.
Like what?
A daring hijacking of a van containing 400 babies' potties.
Funny man, ain't you?
What'd you do with him? Who's your contact? One of the big men in London, is it?
Enjoying yourself?
If you was just a bungling yobbo, it might be mildly amusing, yes. But you're not. You're a bully and a coward.
Hey?
You like jumping people, don't you? Weak, defenceless people. You like slapping them about. People who can't defend themselves.
What you on about?
Stanley.
Stanley? I only know Stanley Matthews.
It'll come as a nasty surprise to you, but he's still alive.
I never touched him.
You got the motive. He's a police witness. He saw you in Staples the other morning. You've got every motive for trying to kill him.
Kill him?
Attempted murder. The elimination of a man is going to be a key witness at your trial.
It weren't me. I never had nothing to do with it.
Who was it then?
Who was it? Him. It were him, Gordon. When he saw it in the back of that van, he went mad. Berserk. He said it were all Stanley's fault for messing things up for us in that radio shop.
His partner's in. I'll be out in a minute. No. Let's have him in here. Go on.
That's all. He said he would go into Clubber, Stanley. I never had nothing to do with it. I went and had a cup of tea, and then I went home.
Well, your mate here has been very helpful. We've heard all about the van and the radio shop. Now, of course, we'd have got that already, because it was witnessed by one Stanley Haynes.
You stupid bastard! Look, he was trying to stitch me up for murder.
Murder?
Attempted murder of Stanley Haynes.
You balmy, I never meant to hurt him. I only meant to...
Rough him up. Have a bit of fun, was that it?
Who cares? Who gives a stuff about him? He killed his baby.
And you love little babies, don't you? That's why you nicked all them potties? To give a present to every kiddie in the town? Oh, yes, it's easy to see you're a great little baby lover.
How's this for you?
Yeah, it'll do fine.
Which way are you going?
Doesn't really matter.
Best of luck, then.
Yeah.
Ewan Hooper is director of the Greenwich Theatre.